Hello, everybody.
Good to see all of you. Welcome to another episode of Codex Legendarium. It's been a while. Uh like Jesus, the campaign is resurrected. Yep. Been some time. Life came at us all hard the past few weeks. So good to see you again. Welcome back. I was about to ask Justin for channel announcements, but Justin is not here today. He is feeling under the weather, so in lieu of channel announcements, everyone say feel better, Justin.
Feel better, Justin.
I was
Feel better,
muted.
Justin.
Feel better, Justin.
Let me do my best here. We have a link tree. It should have all of our socials on it, including our Tiltify, where we raise money for Color of Change. We have other campaigns running on streams on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So come by and see that. Oh, look at that. Link tree just popped up right when I said it. It's like it actually listens to me. I think that's about it. Other than that, I think we have our stream anniversary coming up in a few months, but Justin will talk about that next time he's back. We still got time. It's not coming up anytime soon, just next couple of months. Oh, Justin is commenting in the chat. Good to see you watching.
Hey, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
What if I wanted to purchase things? Is there someone who could help me with that?
Only if the things you want are made and crafted by a particular person in the stream.
Oh, wonderful.
I have an Etsy shop where you can purchase goods such as you see right here behind me, like this cute little teddy bear ear headband, or other such fine crochet goods. Thank you for the opportunity to plug.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything to plug?
Oh,
before we get started?
it's called the Cozy Corvadeer. It's on Etsy.
There we go. All right. Anybody else have anything to plug before we get into the recap? All right, let's recap because it's been some time. The party was in Sveruuk, the very, very far southern nation, because they got involved in an international incident. And then in order to make nice with the queen and make sure they didn't accidentally start a war or allow somebody else to start a war, really, because it really actually wasn't their fault, they decided to help out the queen. The queen was like, listen, the best thing you can do for me, thanks, Justin, is my son has been kidnapped by a witch. If you go get him back, that'll really take a lot off my mind. And y'all were like, absolutely, we're happy to. So you went up to a mountain. You climbed the mountain, you fought some yetis, some of you got kidnapped via portals, you grabbed you went inside, you fought your way through some puzzles, there was a haunted mirror house, there was a bunch of awful suits of armor. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There was a bridge, you offered to make her dinner, there's some plans happened. One of you got cursed on your way out as Yule grabbed the kid and you all ran. And then you busted out an airship out of a bottle, rode it down the side of a mountain, fighting off a flock of demons, and then made your way back to Sveruuk, flying back because the wind spirit was able to return, and it appeared to be unable to intervene on the actual mountain itself. You all flew back to Sveruuk. You had there was a party in your honor, big feast. Princess wrestled the queen. Yule did like dueling pan flute v lute music duel with Cadence the Bard. Y'all just had a great time hanging out. Montblanc had a time talking to Cadence and finding out that they're from the same place. And yeah, then y'all kind of hung out. You had a little bit of a conversation at the end. And then where we left off was you were basically done. You had all decided you were going to Titan's Grave. You were going to take the airship. You spent 3 days retrofitting the airship to look like a regular ship for multiple reasons. It needed sails and things to pass as a regular ship just when you decided to sail it on the water. And the other reason is because once you leave Sveruuk, the wind spirit will not be able to help you anymore. It's the wind spirit of this region specifically. So it is only capable of aiding you in this region. Once you get past that point, it will no longer be able to power the airship because the airship is powered by elementals. However, one of you has the ability to just send an elemental flying out whenever. So Leviathan is capable of keeping their ship aloft. Only thing with that is that the airship is meant to work with fire and air spirits to keep it going. Earth and water don't really help with flight too much. So Leviathan can keep the ship in the air, but doesn't really help with propulsion. So the sails actually become necessary once you leave Sveruuk. You took 3 days to get everything retrofitted and everything and put together. Montblanc did paint a new name of the ship on the side of the ship. And that name of the ship...
The Silver Maw!
Yes, the
I
Silver
thought it was
Maw.
the
There it is.
Scarlet Maw.
No, it was the silver because of the werewolves.
Yep.
Ah.
Because that was, if I remember correctly, Galina's suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was Montblanc's attempt at being nice and doing a thing for Galina. I knocked out my light because this outlet is really finicky. Stay plugged in. There we go. So that's where we left off. So we'll begin with I'm going to ask if there's anything in particular any of you wanted to get done over the course of those 3 days of downtime. If not, if you want to just be like, I'm going to chill out and eat food, that's totally fine. But if there's anything you did want to get done or do, now's the time to let me know.
I don't think this is something that used to like happen on camera, but I think just like Galina's playing politician and doing everything she can to like really strengthen the bonds between at least like the region of the 5-star Chalice, if not the entire Aryan Empire with the nation of Sveruuk. And then when she's not doing that, she's just like doing like ritual after ritual after ritual with her cards, trying to like get more memories back because she knows now that like that's a thing that can potentially happen and she doesn't know how to like trigger that or like get that unlocked thing. So she's really just spending a lot of time doing like weird shit with her cards.
Okay. When you say like making or strengthening the bond between Sveruuk and the 5-star Chalice, like giving Uncle Bliam's like contact information basically, and like
yeah, like drafting up some like preliminary like trade stuff. Like obviously everything has to be signed off by Uncle Bliam, and like she's very upfront about that. But like just trying to be like, well, this is like how we can help out you guys. Like this is how you can help out us. Like, and so like once we've been able to like make contact with Uncle Bliam, like.
Okay, sounds good. You just basically spend 3 days like finding out ways that you could create diplomatic relations between the region of the 5-star Chalice and Sveruuk, and so you could put that in Uncle Bliam's court once you're back.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Anybody else?
So it's 3 days, right?
Yep.
So Viktoria on the first day would spend it kind of just going through like the drills with the axe. Just kind of getting back into that. And then on days 2 through 3, she would just kind of go off by herself, probably by the hot springs. And like her sister, use her cards and just kind of try and keep doing what she had been doing. But instead of targeting him, she's going to target the 2 people that were with him, because common denominator is the cards. So she's trying to like force a connection through the cards there.
Okay. I'm going to tell you that's very difficult because you still have the curse where you cannot actually see what your cards say. You keep laying out the cards and looking at them, but it's just like they all look like cloudy. It's as if like all of it almost looks like someone has like painted a gray cloud over the surface of every one of them for you, but like it moves. Like it's as if like it almost looks as if the card themselves is like a paint, like a window into just like a bank of fog. So it's like you can just see like the slight billowing and everything. And like it's almost as if it's mocking you, because you can like see the slightest barest like outlines or like maybe corners of shapes, like just enough to like let you know that the actual image is still back there behind the mist and the fog, like shrouding it, but not enough for you to be able to get any sort of actual interpretation.
I'm going off of pure vibes, so she's gonna spend 2 whole days going off
Okay.
of vibes and trying to force it. This
Okay.
brute force.
All right.
Can I do like an insight check? Because it's very weird that Viktoria has like been kind of avoiding me when it comes to cards.
Let's so well, has Viktoria, what has Viktoria been doing in that regard, with like in terms of like the cards and everything, and like hiding the curse and being weird about it? How weird has she been being?
Well, it depends on your definition of weird and how it relates to Viktoria.
The way that Galina would be able to notice.
So like they do have their nightly routine where they like read the cards, and Viktoria would still like lay out the thing and like look as if she's pondering whatever spread she has. And then that would just be it. Like she wouldn't talk about it except to just be like, oh, interesting, you know. Kind of just
like, what's
non-committal.
interesting about it? Your cards are actually very upfront. What do you mean interesting?
That probably would happen at one point, just because of the amount of times you'd be drawing the cards. There probably would be a time where you'd be like pondering over some stuff that would be like, the cards would essentially be saying like, tomorrow you're going to eat bread.
Interesting.
What is something going on?
Lots of things are going on. You're going to be more specific.
Well, it's just you're looking at your cards and you're saying interesting, but I am also looking at your cards and they are not being very interesting.
You just don't understand the connection I have with my deck, you know. You just see them as they are, but like I can see deeper into it, and you know, it's interesting.
That moment though does actually tell you something you didn't necessarily know before.
Oh,
Which is that Galina just revealed that she can see your cards.
okay,
So,
interesting.
Just yeah, because you had never like fully understood how the curse went. You didn't know if it was just you personally or anybody. So like, if Galina sees you and just like reveals that she can see it, that does give you that little extra bit of information that you wouldn't necessarily have had confirmation of previously.
So, like, for example, like what do you see when you look at these cards?
All right, well, clearly you've pulled 4 pentacles, which is interesting, but not because of course you did. Let's look. This one, like, your spread is basically saying we're about to go on a journey. Of course we're about to go on a journey. We're setting up the ship right now. What is interesting about it?
What is interesting is that we do not know what this journey means, like what it holds. Like, does it hold death? Does it hold riches? Like, interesting.
It feels kind of like you are deflecting right now.
I'm going
to let it happen. I'm going to back off. And I'm going
Why
to let
would
you
I
deal.
be deflecting?
I don't know why you're being deflecting,
Then
but
I
you
have
are the
no
one who
reason
is
to be
being deflecting.
I have
But-
no reason to be deflecting then if you do not know why I would be deflecting.
Well, perhaps you are deflecting from a reason that you do not want me to know that you have art for deflecting. It's to have
when
a
are
reason.
we ever apart? You know, like literally everything about me.
We've spent the past 2 days apart. You are constantly going to the hot springs to do your little rituals without me. And it's kind of weird for you to be doing little rituals without me.
Yeah, well, the hot springs are nice and it's warm and it's very nice in this very cold hellscape.
Okay, well, what kind of rituals are you doing?
It's
I'm trying
called
to
a
unlock
bath,
memories
sister.
personally.
It's called a bath.
I'm going to, oh, you are so rude. You're so rude all the time.
I am not rude. I am very, very polite.
That is a lie that we both know.
Go and ask literally. Okay. Don't go and ask anybody. If you ask one specific person, he will tell you I'm very polite.
Yes, I will go ask Tedros if you are polite.
See, you know everything about me. You know who I was talking about.
But anyways, we have to talk about what happened
When?
when we were separated from everybody else.
Oh,
Like, who was that guy? Also, I assume we're
He did tell
away
us
in
his
like
name.
a private section.
Yeah.
He did tell us his name, so like we do kind of know who he is.
True, Gregorio, is it?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But then who are the two people with him?
I don't know, some fucking lackeys? I don't know.
And why was he so adamant that? Because remember, he was like, yes, Galina, you are lady, but you are not Aeorian lady.
Well,
What does this
like,
mean?
It just means that we're not from Aeor, which I think
I mean,
we
of
kind
course
knew
we're not
that.
from Aeor, but then where are we from? And do we hold titles for where we're from?
I hope not.
It seems kind of likely though, doesn't it?
For you, maybe.
That's true. maybe I am beautiful, dainty, noble lady, and you are rough and tumble general from wherever we're from.
God, that sounds pretty hot.
That would be so cool for us, I think.
I would love that.
Mhm.
Suits much better than being an Aeorian lady. Would much rather be a warrior.
But also, where was that place we were?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know either. I'm trying to brainstorm here.
There was
talking
not
to you
like
is
a
like
lot of
talking to a wall.
landmarks.
There
Like,
were so many landmarks. The entire thing was landmarks.
It was
Viktoria.
ruins.
It was
like,
a lot.
What?
Ruins.
Yes, they were ruins.
Who
Did
do
you
we
not see like
know
the decrepit
that-
nature of
yes,
where
I
we
know,
were?
I know. Stop being rude.
I'm
Listen.
not rude. I'm very polite.
Perhaps we should talk to Tedros about this. Maybe he'll know where
In like
these
the
ruins
most
are.
nondescript way possible.
We will leave out Gregorio. We will leave out the two people with Gregorio because that is whole thing that we don't understand yet, so we don't want to worry them.
Mhm.
But
Do
also,
not want them to at all know about that.
also, there was this note on the dead body from when we woke up that said he is coming.
It's probably him.
It feels like it's probably him, right?
Did he, correct me if I'm wrong, there's been a lot happening. I don't really remember. Did he or did he not say that he had been watching us for a while?
If he didn't say it, he definitely made it feel that way.
Is he watching us right now?
Gregorio, if you're watching us right now, send a portal.
No, I'm kidding.
If you're watching us right now, I just want you to know you're kind of a creep.
But I wonder what those ruins, like where they were. And because also I talked to Tedros about the journey I went on, and he knew about at least one of the places. So maybe
I did
he'll
not
know
tell
about
anybody about anything that I went.
Yes, I actually don't even know really where you went. We just kind of met up in that weird city. And then, but also, did the city make you feel bad? The city made me feel bad.
Like, it felt very, like, heavy, you know?
I felt something a little different. I felt overwhelming loss and death.
Yeah, that feels very heavy, you know?
Yes, yes. So lots of death is what I was feeling.
Which is probably why it's a ruin.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Like if everybody
People
is
often
dead,
don't be alive in the ruins. Often
and
ruins are when people are no
if
longer
people are-
alive.
if they're dead, they can't take care of the buildings, which means that the buildings go to ruin.
Decrepit. Of course, and then if there's nobody for like tax paying and like there's no like governing body, then like infrastructure falls through the cracks.
And then they just all like decomposing in the streets, and then nature takes back over, and then nature like gets into the rocks and the and decrepit.
Were there any like signs, like Like, you know how like some like monuments will have like a carved sign. Was there anything like that that had any kind of like, was there like a language that was like carved into like any kind of like sign that had a language in it, just to like help in that, like literally any kind of identifying thing to take to Tedros?
Probably not. All you could do is describe the architecture and everything. You probably would have seen things that looked like they would have held wooden signs and things like that, but it looks like all the signs would have been things like wood or like painted on or things like that, not just like etched into stone, which would have survived.
Mhm.
It looked really old, so like any wood or anything would have rotted away.
Yes,
How
yes.
long does it take for wood to rot? We
Uh,
should ask him that.
The difficult thing also was the fact that it did look like the place had exploded.
Also, I forgot about the explosion aspect of it. Yes, it did look very exploded also, which might have had something to do with the death.
You know, people do tend to die in big explosions if they're near it.
Is what I've heard. I
I
wonder if
personally, I have not
Tedros has heard
experienced
any. Before we leave, we should talk to Yule's friend, the storyteller, see if he has any stories about big explosions.
He doesn't seem to really have many stories from outside of Sveruuk.
Yes, true.
I did ask him.
Maybe
when we first
Tedros
got
will
into
know.
town.
I feel like Tedros has many stories that he knows.
I feel like we should ask him if he knows anything about big explosions.
Big explosions.
He
But
might
then also
know.
he's going to ask more questions, so we should probably be prepared for that.
Okay, what question would he ask? Why do you want to know about big explosion?
We were at Big Explosions place.
Why were you at Big Explosion Place?
Portal took us there.
Who controls the portals?
No idea, never met them.
Solid.
We figured it out. Let's go talk
We
to
have such a
Tedros.
We have such a solid story.
Also, I have also completely forgotten about you being weird about your cards, but it did just come back. But again, I am going to let you kind of figure this out on your own. That you don't even try to deny it. I'll let you try to figure it out on your own, but I am around if you need help. But I have
Can
faith
a girl
in you.
not just like do her own thing with her cards? Like, who are you, the card police?
Yes,
When did you get that title?
I gave it to myself right now.
That's not fair.
Well, you should have gotten it first, but you
Well,
didn't.
if you are the card police, then I am the governor of the cards, and governors trump police.
Well, if you are a governor of cards, then I am police of cards, and I'm also governor of governors. Boom.
Well, I am emperor of governors, of police of cards. Boom.
I'm gonna like turn on my heel so that like I whip her with my hair as I stalk out and go, I'm going to find Tedros.
So mean, and you called me rude.
I don't know what you're talking about.
God, I hate you sometimes.
You love me so much, and I love
No, I
you so
don't.
much.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
You're my reason for waking up in the morning.
That's very sweet. Can't relate. I'm also my reason for waking up in the morning.
So you can relate then.
Speaking of Tedros, what's Tedros doing during these 3 days before these two show up?
Tedros is getting some he's getting some like rectangular strips of wood and spending some time doing some light burning on the wood. 6 strips, and when he's done with that, he will then be just looking over his notes, trying to figure out things from the shooting iron and just kind of documenting some of the stuff that he's seen.
Okay.
As well, like just trying to figure it all out because a lot's happened in a very short space of time.
Okay. And then before we get to the twins showing up to Tedros to ask about ruins, what has Yule been doing for 3 days?
So Yule, for the past 3 days, has she's been going through it lately, like having her first like bout of depression, not really understanding how to deal with it. So she's just kind of reverting back to what she knows, which is like training. So she's just like training her acrobatics, gymnastics, stretching, doing strength training, tai chi type stuff.
Okay.
And it's kind of obvious that she's like sort of overworking her body and like trying to just not give herself time to think about anything.
Okay. And then I can tell you Montblanc. I can tell you what Montblanc is doing for 3 days, which is primarily working on the ship, pretty much entirely. Working with very closely with Lubedo, the merchant, who is the one who is supplying all of the materials for the ship and everything, because they're the merchant that deals with this, like, out of this place. I don't know if it's I forget if I've mentioned this before, but wood is very hard to come by down here, just because like not many trees grow and they just don't have like a huge industry out of logging, basically. So Lubedo is like the only source of timber and lumber around. Everything else tends to be made of bone, because animals, like large dead animals, are easier to come by here than wood. So whalebone and mammoth bone are some of the most common building materials. So yeah, he's working on that. And like there would probably be like moments of like Montblanc just like probably pausing and just like awkwardly staring while each of you are doing your own downtime things, just kind of like sitting in thought, and then just kind of like moving on and going off to what he's doing. But he spends all of his time out at the ship and working on that and getting it ready. So yeah. So then the twins, so Tedros, wherever you are working, the twins probably show up at some point over the course of those days.
Do we know what Princess is doing?
I don't, but I'll find out while this is happening.
Okay.
I would also like to collect Yule on the way to Tedros. Probably because I think Galina probably has clocked that Yule's working a little too hard, but also doesn't know how to like get her to stop necessarily. But it's like, this is how I can get her to stop. Hey, we're having a conversation. You need to be here for it.
What? Oh, okay.
Yes, so sorry. Viktoria and I, we were chit-chatting about the portaling stuff that happened, and so we wanted to talk to Tedros, but also you, to see if maybe you could help us sort out the thoughts and the things about it. If you have free time.
Yule's probably like hanging upside down in some silks or something, so she's like, okay, all right, and she just flips her way down to the floor and starts coming with you guys.
Probably put together like, for the silks, probably put together like
out of the circus tent.
Yeah, like stitch stuff together out of the circus tent. And probably the best place you would have found to do that would have been like from the rafters in like the longhouse, basically, yeah. Like where you all ate and everything. And they've just like, they're incredibly the queen and everybody's incredibly accommodating to all of you. So they like moved mattresses down underneath you. There's just like one corner that you've just been able to turn into your own like personal little circus corner, especially because it's entertaining to watch. And then you've got the silks like hung up from the rafters.
She just gathers a crowd sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oftentimes Galina is doing her little card rituals while Yule is doing all of her like acrobatics things, just because she thinks it's neat, so she wants to like be nearby while it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll come with you. We're talking about portals?
Yes, you remember when we vanished and the whatnot?
Yes, when you guys disappeared? Yes.
When we disappeared. The very time.
Okay.
Do you know where Tedros is?
No, I haven't seen him.
Alright, well, I'll just let Viktoria sniff him out like Bloodhound.
I'd like to cast message.
Okay.
I'd just be like, hi, where are you?
I'm in Lubedo's tent, working on some stuff. What do you need?
Okay, thanks, bye. He's in Lubedo's tent. Let's go.
Oh, we should go to Lubedo's tent then.
Okay.
Yeah. Tedros will pack up what he's working on, like, when he gets that message. It's like, okay, sure.
Wait, whose tent is that again?
Lubedo? The hair?
Yeah.
The hair guy?
Oh. Okay.
The one with like hair sticking up and then the day is over when his hair goes boop.
Yule's nodding as if she's like never been paying attention.
All right, so
Then
you
we'll
you all head over that way.
March over.
Yeah. Okay. So you see, you can head over and you can see Lubedo outside of their tent, just hawking their wares, hair plumed straight up, multiple feet into the air, just like a big swoosh straight up, held up by just being frozen in that position. And Tedros is probably inside, probably set up at like a table or a workbench, basically, just like
something close to the fire because he needs to like keep heating a piece of metal and then doing stuff. But
yeah,
he'll by the time they arrive, he's finished like wrapping whatever he's working on in some cloth, and is putting it into his bag.
Okay.
Hi, ladies. Can I help you with something?
I think so. I think we're supposed to talk to you about portals.
We're going to, well, not about the portals specifically, but about what we saw in the portals. We were hoping maybe you and Yule could help us out.
I knew it. I knew there was something. All right. Yes. Thank you.
You're very
I
smart.
didn't know
We all knew
anything.
that.
Is there something we were supposed to know?
Call it a
Absolutely.
hunch. All right.
But yes, so far we have been very upfront about the fact about where we went and whatnot, and that we were separated. However, that is not whole truth. Whole truth is the final place we went, we ended up there together, and was maybe city, maybe not city. I do not know. It was very destroyed, almost as if massive explosion happened. But very much ruins. Ruins.
Yeah.
But there was no signage. There was no like carved anything, so we couldn't even figure out what it was like mother tongue for the area.
Again, because of big explosion.
Big explosion.
What did the ruins look like?
Exploded.
Yes,
Actually,
but
let
lots of
me-
things can be exploded. Was it rocks? Was it civilization?
If you give me half a second to pull up my Google Doc, I'll let you know. Because we were very intensive about architecture.
Was like explosion. But
Explosion
like,
of what?
The explosion. Like we didn't see the explosion, so like I don't know. But like it was just like we were in these like ruins, and it looked, like very exploded, and it was like very heavy feeling.
Did it look as if a city like this exploded, or did it look as if a mountain exploded, or did it look as if what? I mean, lots of things can be ruined.
No, different from it was city, but different from this city. And I think the most prominent aspect is that the city looked almost like it had different distinct architecture styles, almost as if numerous places were being represented in one place. Is that making sense?
It makes perfect sense.
Not really, but okay.
Well, I mean, we know that I say that it makes sense because we already know that the Draconic Union and the Isle of Quatmentis had been working together. So it makes sense that other people would perhaps work together as well. We saw examples of mixing of their architecture. Did you notice any of that sort of 5-colored stone anywhere in there, maybe?
No.
Did we know?
No, there is none of that stone, no. It was like everything around us appeared blasted and destroyed as if from some like central burst or explosion that leveled most of the buildings and like cracked and broke the rest. I was very dusty. They was just blowing across, gathering in piles and stuff, almost like the snow here. But yeah, the architecture was very distinct and almost like there was like 4 distinct architecture styles. that I would say, and they were like almost like naturally like divide like. They were, like the division seemed very natural, but I don't know why they seemed so natural. They just something felt correct about it. But definitely like there was definitely architecture there that I saw that I was like, this feels more familiar than other architecture. But like all of it was kind of made sense, but there was some architecture that made more sense to me personally.
Why would it be familiar? Like, is it from where you're from?
I don't know. Probably could be. We don't know where we're from.
We're not from Aor.
That's for sure.
Well, Victoria, did you have portions of that were more familiar to you?
Portions of the ruins? Yeah, like, there is one part that like felt very familiar. I don't know if it was the same part that felt familiar to Ina here.
What was the part that felt familiar for you, Ria?
So like kind of when we were standing there, it was kind of like the one that was like immediately to the left, right? Like, yes, right.
Okay, because yeah, mine wasn't the one to the right. Mine was the one to the left, but 2 over.
Like immediately to the left, or like up to the left?
No, not the up one. Not the up one. There
Not
was the
the
one
up.
that was very up. Mine was a
Yeah.
little lower than the very up.
Little lower than the very up. Oh, okay. Oh, interesting.
So are you from 2 different places, maybe?
It's impossible. We're twins.
Yeah, we are twins.
But
Can you not tell?
Honestly?
Yes, honestly.
Like genuine question.
Well, I mean, you're blue and you're green, and
You know what? Already you've brought up such a good point, and I do see what you're saying.
You don't exactly have all of the same body parts.
Oh, that's right. I have horns.
Yeah, so I just, I have horns, you have horns, but that doesn't mean that we're twins. Because there's a lot of things that are different about us, and we do come from different places, so maybe you come from different places.
But riddle me this. The feeling. Like, I know in my heart that Ina is my twin.
Maybe you were twins in a past life.
Shit.
This is opening too many doors.
You asked for my honest opinion, and I don't think you look much alike.
I'm already regretting it, but thank you so much for your honest opinion. I appreciate you very much.
I can lie from now on if you'd like.
No, we do not need relationships based in dishonesty.
Oh, but you guys
Everyone
taught
here
me
should
how
be
to lie.
100
Yes, sometimes lying is good. Other times is
bad.
Okay.
Don't worry, it'll eventually be figured out.
It is an occasional necessary evil, one that I do my best not to engage in.
Princess
you
never
ever
lies.
lied?
It's true. Princess is very good at not lying, but also still keeping things from the light.
Have you ever lied, Tedros?
Of course, I'm human.
To us? Not.
No,
Are you
no, no. I'm humanoid. I do the same things that all people do, right? Like we eat, like most of us eat and sleep and drink and stuff. And,
I do stuff, like
Yeah,
eating
exactly.
and drinking.
Exactly. So, among those things is lying occasionally. And if you make it your business to not lie, you won't. But for the most part, I just don't. There's a lot of stuff that you have to keep in mind. If you lie, you have to keep your story straight. You have to figure out how your lie fits in with other things that you've said that are the truth.
Should I be taking notes?
I feel like this is a lecture.
Yeah, Galina's just like nodding along sagely. Victoria's like, "This is
Maybe
a
just
lecture."
consider this as an explanation for why lying is more trouble than it's worth usually.
Victoria looks a little uncomfortable.
But yes, all this to
Victoria?
say,
Victoria, do you lie?
Sometimes, yeah. I lied a lot before we met Uncle Liam.
Do you lie to us?
Not typically.
Not typically.
Nope.
Have you lied to us recently?
No.
What's your definition of recently?
Like,
Hey, so I
Past
wanted to ask a
24 hours?
question. I would like to actually ask you some more questions about the ruins, if that's okay.
yes, of course.
yes, please. Please.
Victoria's like, please.
And you'll definitely hold that question for later. Don't forget it.
I won't.
All right. Anyway. Is this old destruction or new destruction?
Old. Very, very old.
Very, very old. And you said it was split into 4 parts. It was a place that you felt a connection to. Familiarity with some parts, stronger connection to other parts. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that perhaps you visited the Isle of Plot Mentis.
What makes you say that?
Well, I'm assuming that the Quat part of Quad Mentis is supposed to be 4. And if it's 4, then there would be 4 different parts to it. And the 2 of you are 2 parts of the 4 elements: wind, water, earth, and fire. So it makes sense that each of you would have a different one that you're a bit more attuned to.
But like, didn't that island like die like thousands of years ago?
Yeah, which would explain some sort of explosion and destruction that's really, really old.
But then how could we like know that island if we ourselves are not thousands of years old?
Do you know that you're not thousands of years old?
Do I look thousands of years old?
Well, you don't have memories of not being thousands of years old. Maybe you're thousands of years old, but will always stay young and
I
hot.
don't think I have a lifespan of 1,000 years old.
Maybe something happened. I've heard stories of people getting
Trapped in icebergs?
less icebergs, more in magic is weird. It does weird things, and I think that it's probably possible for you to not age very much.
Like Cainro.
Exactly like Cainro. He's still the same age that he was.
But we didn't turn to dust when we woke up.
Well,
And
maybe
Cainro
the
said
magic
he would
works
turn to
differently.
dust.
Yeah, so like,
To be fair, this is the magic of a pretty hateful fey creature. I imagine that she probably revels in the idea that she could keep something trapped indefinitely just by letting them know that they would turn to dust as soon as they step out.
but
Yeah,
what if
maybe
he
it's a
worked-
lie.
Then turn to dust. What if the witch just told him that so that he wouldn't try and escape?
Maybe it's a lie.
Well,
To clarify real quick, he witnessed it himself. It wasn't that she told him. He like looked out and saw her take other things out and saw them visibly age.
Fair. Not
might
that you
plays
would
tricks
remember
on
these
you.
details.
well, I don't know. Maybe you're not thousands of years old. Maybe there are other people who have been living in the ruins of that civilization, and that's who you're from with somehow.
See, now that seems like more likely than
Yeah,
us
also
being
I
like
feel like-
thousands of years old.
People probably aren't living in those ruins. Again, it was
lots of destruction. And also, when I was there, I just had this very heavy feeling of death and just a couple nights ago, I've been trying to access my memories from before, and I made some leeway, but I didn't get any memories, just a horrible, horrible feeling of devastation, destruction, and death. And the ruins made me feel the same way.
Maybe it's connected. I mean, it's possible that, you know, maybe whatever happened to you that caused you to lose your memory might have happened in the ruins, maybe?
Maybe you were there for the explosion and someone portaled you away to Aor.
I mean, well, if it's an old, like if it's a site of an old explosion, well, I couldn't. These are the straws, and this is me grasping at them. Without seeing it directly, there's only so much that I could say, and there's still a lot we don't know.
And there are
Can
other
I
places that you
cast-
visited, correct?
I'd like to cast Minor Illusion to create just like a small rendition, like a little like diorama of like what at least Galina, like the parts of the city that Galina saw.
Okay. Give me either a wisdom or intelligence check to recreate it faithfully.
Okay. I'm gonna do wisdom. That is an 18 plus 3.
Okay, you can do an excellent job. So what are you trying to recreate?
I think the part that probably sticks in her mind the most is when Gregorio and the two figures showed up. So kind of that square where like you could see like the palace that was like blown to smithereens.
Okay. So Galina kind of uses minor illusion, creates like a little miniature diorama of what looks like a city center. Tedros, to you, based on your experience and knowledge, it looks like a city center. You can see what looks like just a very large building that, based on the architecture you can see from a little bit of detail, was fairly opulent and just magnificent would be the best word to describe it. But it's kind of hard to see past that because the entire top part of it, like past a certain point, is just gone, like obliterated. Like it's almost as if there's a crater that starts halfway up the building, just like kind of blasted off in like an like a little, almost like a bowl shape into it, just because like it looks like there's just a burst at the top. And then you can see other buildings, like buildings themselves are kind of tilted outward almost from that, or like have parts of them like blasted away and destroyed. Everything is covered in just like a thin layer of dust and ash. Thin in some places, thicker in others. Just like blowing ash, almost like snowdrifts, like Viktoria described. And you can see like the 4 distinct architecture styles kind of represented around, as well as you can actually, looking at it also, just like the 4 of you looking at it now, and Tedros is kind of like outside eye also. You can also all kind of start to pick up and piece together all 4 of those architecture styles represented in that central building in the middle of this like big open plaza.
Oh.
I'm going to point out the architecture that feels familiar to me. Is this one?
And this one
Okay.
is mine, right here.
Okay, that's good to know.
I don't know what I'm looking at.
An explosion.
Yeah, but I mean, this would have to be immense. Like if you see it's almost like a crater, but not a crater, since it just like sheared off portions of things, and that looks like it's pushed off to the side. I don't want to know too much about whatever did this, because that's not something that should be used by anybody at all. This is horrific, and this is where people were, I guess. So I'm hoping that whatever this is definitely something from a long, long time ago. Because if anything has that kind of power now, we would be in trouble, to say the least.
Yeah, that's why we were wondering if you knew of any like old legends or tales of like massive like civilization ending explosion, or Yule if your storyteller friend has told you any.
I mean, I've just got a lot of speculation. Most of the runes that I've looked at have been the ones in my homeland, and it's not. Let's just say they don't have quite the same reverence for it that I do. So there are lots of things that could have been kept in better shape that weren't, and I've been piecing things together.
Mr. Storyteller Religion Man didn't really talk about any explosions or ancient civilizations. We just spoke about Mr. Cainrow and how the town doesn't have the resources to save him.
Well, perhaps if it's somehow true that Victoria and I are thousands years old somehow, probably not, but maybe at this Isle of Quadmentis we can find whatever would have caused that to happen, and then maybe we could finagle it to work on Cainrow also, so when he steps out of Aquarium he doesn't turn to dust.
That would be good.
That would be amazing. I told him I'd come back for him, but he didn't believe me.
Well, personally, I'd like to come back for Agneta just anyway.
I want.
We've got some beef. I've got some beef with her.
Yeah.
I was able to get out without actually interacting.
It's better that way. She's pretty nasty.
And not even just like physically, because she was physically pretty messed up.
Yeah.
But like personality-wise was also very nasty.
Like an ugly personality just like makes appearance more ugly, you know?
That's true.
Yeah, I would say that you should have seen what the inside of her kitchen looks like, but I'm glad you don't.
All I saw was tanks upon tanks of people and animals and suffering.
That sounds like her MO.
I wish I could save them all.
Well,
we're going to try our best.
So you want to go to this Isle of Quadmentis?
I mean, truly, I hadn't even thought of the Isle of Quadmentis as a potential place for these runes. But also, we have no idea where the Isle of Quadmentis is. The only thing we really know about Quadmentis is that they had a contract, really, with the Draconic Union.
Yeah. I would guess, based on what we've seen, that it probably was a pretty big deal that happened, and it would not be a big deal if they weren't both major powers in the world. So I think it's safe to say that something of theirs probably survived, I think.
I wonder if Uncle Liam has ever heard the big explosion.
He has big library. He probably has a lot of book on it.
Yeah, he probably has book. At least one.
At least one.
Well,
I mean, we know that explosions exist, so, we know that big explosions can also exist.
in order to talk to him, we'd have to go to Aor, right?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
But I thought we were headed to Titan's Grave to help Monty.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are, but like this could be like after that.
Yeah, it
And,
feels
like,
like these
after we
runes
find
have
your
already
family.
been there for so long, they're probably going to still be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
okay.
think they're going to like get up and walk away, you know?
I don't know.
Well, I hope not.
I think if they did, we would have
I hadn't even thought of
a
that. What
bigger
if they're
problem.
like Terrans?
What if like the ruins are on top of a terrace?
Oh. Victoria's gonna turn around and look at her, like try and like get a glimpse of her tattoo and be like, Terrence, do you hear that? What if the ruins were on top of you?
I didn't know you named your tattoo.
Yeah, his name is Terrence.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Does
Like
it
Terrence.
exist off of your body?
Sometimes when I'm in like a big group of people, I can like tap my foot and like Terrence will like, it sounds bad, but he does give everybody like a little nibble on their foot, and then like I feel better about myself, but it doesn't harm the other people.
Okay.
Yeah, like how
Okay.
Leviathan comes out to protect other people, Terrence sometimes comes out to protect Victoria.
Yeah, you know, he just like makes it so that I can get hit a little bit more.
Okay, but
Oh.
how could ruins be on top of him then?
Or not like him tattoo him, but maybe if there is like a big land turtle,
Oh.
you
Like-
know?
Hidden beneath the earth, big land turtle, and then he just like gets up and like moves.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think we have any indication that that's the case. I feel like we could just think the ruins will stay where they are unless we look for them and they're not where they were.
Yes. It feels very much like we're trying to come up for solutions for problems we do not currently have.
Yeah.
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 All right, well, thank you both so much for letting us bounce these thoughts off of you. I feel better,
Good.
like we have a direction to chase now, almost.
I feel more confused, but I'm glad that you feel
I
better.
am so much more confused, but
Oh,
I'm feeling better
absolutely.
also.
Okay. Good.
Well, I think I'm less confused. I just have more questions.
All right, so we're all coming out of this in a very different way. Love that for us.
Awesome. Great talk. I will see you all on the ship. Goodbye.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we not
Sure.
all
Yes.
going back to the ship?
When the three of you leave, I'm probably gonna finish up what I was working on.
What are you
I've been
working
the-
on?
You'll find out.
I didn't know it was a secret.
I think it's less secret, more surprise.
Bingo. That's it.
Okay. I don't get very
Don't
many
worry.
surprises.
Well, that makes me look forward to it a little bit more.
All right, well, I am going to go see if the cards will tell me anything about Quad Mentis. Though really, they've been quite finicky recently. They are not talking very much.
Why not?
I don't know.
How about you,
Maybe they just
Victoria?
don't like the questions I'm giving.
Victoria, are your cards doing any better?
No, my cards are also very finicky right now.
What about my cards?
You have cards?
You said that I could do what you guys do with my playing cards.
Yes, well, have you been asking them questions?
Can I ask them questions?
Of course you can ask them
Absolutely.
questions.
Yule's gonna just like dig through her bag and pull
I
out the
think-
playing cards.
I think Galina just got completely fucking sidetracked from going to go ask her cards about Quad Mentis and is now just gonna go sit with Yule somewhere and like go through like the basics of tarot reading. Like right now she's giving her like the this is how you do it like for people so that they'll like pay you type thing. Like what she was doing before they got picked up by Uncle Liam.
Yule's
So it's
gonna
like-
add it to her act.
Perfect.
So then with that, I think that'll bring us to about leaving day, as you all disperse and go about finishing up your 3 days. Get this show on the road. You eventually come to the end of really the morning of the 4th day. Monty will let you all know that the ship is ready to go. It is finished up. It is ready. And he seems eager to leave to Titan's Grave, though he's probably trying to be nonchalant about it. As you're all getting ready to go, the royal family and several of the other people who you've talked to and seen while you've been here all kind of gather up to see you off as you get ready to leave.
I'll do like a very formal Aeorian like farewell, and then as soon as I've like finished like the like ritual of it, just like go in for a big hug the entire royal family.
Oh, they absolutely are just like, come here and just give you a big old group hug together.
Yeah, like it seems like she's just gonna be really weird, stiff, and formal, and then as soon as she's like, all right, I've done all the steps, perfect. Big hug.
Absolutely.
Yul would just sort of like creep in under their legs so that she's just in the middle of the hug.
Victoria does not do hugs. So she's just standing awkwardly and stiffly in the back, just like, goodbye.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Tedros is kind of, from some distance, just giving a wave and a bow. He's not really getting into the huggy wuggies. That's a word that came out of my mouth. Okay, great.
Yeah, that's the noise you made out loud.
Mm-hmm.
I did it.
Uh-oh. We lost Sam for a second.
No.
Haha, we're DM-less. We all just leveled up.
We're all level 15 now.
Oh,
Everything's
that'll
all
make all of this so much easier.
in disarray. Everything's disarray on the screen, so...
He will be back momentarily.
I'm gonna cut to just our video.
Smart.
Not sure what happened there.
Okay, we're back. I just have to adjust the people.
All right. Sorry about that, folks.
It's okay.
So last I heard, Yulyanya was sneaking in to give a leg hug into the royal family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then both Viktoria and Tedros are maintaining a respectful distance because neither of them are huggers.
I see. Probably the same thing with Monty and Princess. Let's see. So the queen will of course say goodbyes. We'll thanks both twins for taking responsibility for everything that happened and stepping up, and we'll say when I first met you, I had my reservations, but you have proven yourselves to be very capable and responsible dignitaries from where you come from, and they are lucky to have you as nobility.
Thank you so much. Yes, it definitely was a bad day for sure.
Yes. Thank you to you, Yulyanya, for rescuing and getting my son from where he was, rescuing him personally. Thank you for bringing him back to me.
Of course. I said I would, and I don't like to break promises.
A very honorable thing. Princess, a rematch for the next time you're in the area, I think is in order. And to you, Montblanc, good luck in your endeavors wherever this next adventure of yours takes you, and I promise that the letter you sent with me will arrive. And while she's saying all this, her husband, Suli, just kind of sidles up next to Tedros and just says, so, you're going to be heading out with everybody?
Yeah.
You spend a lot of time thinking about them and worrying about them and caring about them, don't you?
I'd say so, yeah.
He reaches up, gives your shoulder a squeeze. You're a good friend for it.
Thanks.
All right. While you're all getting ready to go and finishing up your goodbyes, you can hear just because you're out by the ship for this part, from back towards the village, you can just see the smaller form of somebody running up with something in their arms, and you just hear coming from a distance, wait, hold on, wait. And you see Nuela, the gnome, the inventor, come running up with something in her arms. It's like a bundle of wood and bone and canvas. She comes running up and just, oh, good, I caught you. Okay. And then she actually turns to Yule and says, oh, I have never had the chance to make something for somebody else because nobody else around here is as small as I am, but I wanted to make something for you, so as thanks, so here you go.
Oh my gosh! Thank you. What is it?
Okay, it's kind of like what I use to get pulled around by my lynxes, but instead of being pulled by lynxes, it kind of just falls but slower and makes you go this way.
Ooh. Well, thank you so much.
I noticed your hair can do stuff, so I kind of built it with that in mind. So it only carries someone as small as you or me, and you kind of need to use your hair to help steer. But I was able to put it together in time.
That's so exciting. Thank you so much. No one's ever made me anything like this before.
I've never made anything like it before except for mine, so I hope you enjoy it. I hope it helps. Hope you enjoy it.
I appreciate it so much. And then she'll just run in for a hug.
Absolutely will return the hug. And I will be adding a glider to your inventory.
I'm
Basically,
so excited.
Slows down your falling speed and adds in 30 feet of horizontal movement for every 10 feet fallen.
You're putting it in D&D Beyond?
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Oh my god, I wanted that so bad.
How, like, it's so airbender. I love it.
Here you go.
Oh, thanks, Sam.
Added in under equipment as glider. I may adjust that
Nope.
description, but I put it together and did the basics.
I appreciate it. Oh my gosh.
All right, and then the queen says, "You are welcome back here anytime. I wish you all the best of luck in your endeavors, and may you find success in everything you do."
Thank you, Queen.
You too, Your Majesty.
Thank you.
We'll see you again. We're not giving up on the people who are still trapped.
It is very good to hear. All right. Well, we won't keep you any longer. However this works, may you find favorable winds along your way.
All right. Well, I think at least while we're here, we'll still have some favorable winds. So. Yeah, and Tedros will get on board and just kind of wait on deck for everybody.
Okay. As you're all getting on deck, Cadence the Tiefling will come over and say, I talked to Montblanc and he said I could maybe get a ride back to Titan's Grave with all of you. I said I was going to help with some stuff. We have a similar enemy.
Cadence?
Is that okay with everybody?
Sure.
Yes.
I'm fine with that, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, just going to climb onto a flying ship and hope for the best. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. He's got like his pack and everything set up and all of his luggage just like in a duffel bag over his shoulder. All right. And yeah, you can all get onto the ship. Montblanc will go to get into where he needs to go to steer. And yeah. Anything else before you all take off?
Before we take off, Tedros will actually kind of gather everyone together. And I have a question that I asked you, Sam. And he has the different pieces of wood, and there are 6 of them, like these like long, like rectangular plaques of wood in his hand, and says, well, I don't know where exactly you all are going to want them to be. But real quick, Montblanc, since you're going to be flying, you should probably give me yours first. But here, and he hands out one of these pieces of wood to everybody. And you look and you see that on it is your name with a symbol on either side of your name. I will give you all the symbols so that you have those. I will go in overlay order to make my life easier. For Princess, there is a wolf's head on one side and a lute on the other. For Viktoria, there is it looks like a tortoise shell on one side and an axe on the other. For Yulyanya, there is it looks like a little tent on one side and a cabbage on the other. For Tedros, there is a moon on one side and his best rendition of an owl on the other. He had some trouble with his owl, so it's a little bit lopsided. Needs some work, but he did his best. For Galina, there is a shield on one side and a serpent on the other, like a Leviathan-shaped serpent on the other. And for Montblanc, there is a wolf head on one side and an anchor on the other.
Wow.
I figured we should, if this is ours, we can personalize it a little bit. So just when you know where you want to be, I will, just make sure that it goes on your door.
When you say that, Montblanc will say, yeah, about that. Speaking of personalizing, why don't I give you a tour of the renovations I've been doing?
Yeah, sure.
And he can bring you all below decks to what he's been doing with the ship, which is more than just the sails and the painted name on the side.
God, don't I feel like an asshole for just doing little card rituals for the past 3 days?
So the first one this is all like kind of in the below decks in the hold area. The first one is a sparring chamber with like a small wooden platform, like almost like an arena, like the octagon in the middle, with some wooden training dummies set up around, maybe some sandbag training dummies, and kind of like in the wood carving is some very basic wood carving of like rocky or earth type symbology in it, and then also like some kind of sea-based ones as well. Next one is what looks like a fairly like put together like a study with like workbench and some bookshelves, and mostly like feathers and owl and moon motifs around that room. One room that's just kind of set up like an indoor obstacle course, like parkour room, basically. Remnants of the circus tent have been attached up and draped across the ceilings. They kind of form like, it looks like you're inside the circus tent.
As Yul sees that, she starts to tear up.
Just a nice quiet office with actually some like, the window has been replaced with some colored glass. So it's like a nice cool like blue-green light that almost makes it feel or look like you're underwater. With some like basic like Leviathan-esque paintings around.
Just tearing up.
like a very nice office type area, quiet office area.
It's
and then,
so much nicer than Tedros' office at the ruins.
and then kind of like a music room, a place to kind of like sit to practice, like pegs fit into the walls to like hang up instruments, pretty good acoustics, just a nice comfortable place to like sit and practice music. So yeah, kind of Montblanc spent some time with Lubedo setting up rooms for each of you and your interests.
Oh, Monty, these are all amazing.
Yeah, don't mention it.
You know I can't not mention it.
Maybe I should start getting flying.
Yeah. Well, I will. And Tedros will just grab them and take some of the thinner nails he has and just put people's name plates on the rooms that are obviously theirs.
Okay. Yeah. The sparring chamber is a Montblanc Victoria combo room. That is kind of both for the two very physical combat based ones that don't have an interest in music.
I have a question regarding physical combat.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be able to say put in some training in downtime with my shield to get like a +1 to my AC?
There's a feat for that actually.
Okay.
So I think it's the Shield Master feat. It gives you a bunch of shield based bonuses.
It's honestly wild that I don't have that feat already.
Well, you have the one that lets you block for other people. So Shield
Yeah.
Master is the one that gives you bonuses to yourself. It gives you stuff like you add your shield bonus. I don't know if it gives you a bonus to AC, but I know it gives you like you can add your shield bonus to dexterity saving throws, and it basically gives you evasion if you succeed, where you can like completely hide behind the shield from like fireballs and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really good. I think there's maybe like one other thing. I think it also allows you to shove people as a bonus action.
Yeah.
Nice.
But only if
Yep.
you take the attack action on your turn.
Yes, that's it. Okay. But yeah, so that's an option. But yeah, with that, Montblanc will go to the controls. The ship will lift up into the air. All the sails are basically furled at this point because with the speed you're going to be going with the south wind spirit, those would kind of slow you down and just add drag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they don't need to use Leviathan yet, right?
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, like the winds fill up and like you can see like almost like this tangible ring of mist filling those four struts that stick out and surrounding the ship, and you turn in the right direction and just start flying off to the north. And I'm going to tell you, I previously last time we played, I gave you a number for how long this trip would take, but I did not take into account the fact that the South Wind Spirit could get you the full length of Sveruuk, going at like 4 times speed. So it will take you 1 day to get to the northern coast of Sveruuk. And then from there to the edge of Titan's Grave Waters will be an additional 8 days. So like this trip will be a little bit more than a week.
Okay.
So yeah, you're gonna have some downtime for that, as you
Fantastic. I have
flying
downtime
over-
activities.
So yeah, you're just like after the first day is like I think it's like 20 miles an hour or something. Like you're going like a fair speed, like fairly quick speed up in the air, wind blowing past you. You can just see the whole world laid out beneath you. You do see off in the distance to your left the mountains where Agnetta's castle is and everything.
Oh, actually, are we able to make a stop if we're going to the north of? I don't have the shield the map pulled up right now.
Oh,
But is Harmon on the way, or is that like a full detour?
is what on the way?
Harmon, the head merchant from the port that I originally came to
Oh.
for Sveruuk.
That'd be a little bit of a detour because that'd be
Okay, then
you're
we don't
going
need to do
like straight north. That'd be like west to the coast and then north.
Okay. Cool.
Mhm.
Never mind then.
Yeah. You also would not know if Harmon would still be there because that was Sveruuk territory, and all Yorian people have basically been ordered deported.
Yeah.
So that whole section of Yorian port is probably no longer there, though that may change in the future since you two did your positive relations and everything, but like with more scrutiny.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. And you all went and you picked up your stuff and like you were able to get the horses back sometime over those 3 days. Someone went and did that.
We returned the horses, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were hungry but not dead.
That's good.
But yeah, so we're all flying north. Just over the course of the day, even it gets a little bit. Well, it's hard to tell if it gets warmer because you're up so high flying, so it's like just very cold and windy. But yeah, once you hit like end of the first day, basically, like you hit northern Sveruuk, and there is a moment where you have to do like a little bit of a changeover, and the ship kind of just like drop a few feet. As there's a brief moment where there is just like a slight second where there's not an elemental holding it up, but as the Southwind Spirit reaches the end of its borders of where it can do stuff, you can send Leviathan up, and then you just have the watery form of Leviathan almost forming like an Ouroboros, just like circling around, just like not quite biting its own tail, but like chasing its own tail around in a circle, just like forming this water ring around the outside of the ship. And it's at that point that you need to like actually drop the sails and start using the wind and sailing to the north. And it drops your speed dramatically, because otherwise this trip would take like 3 days instead of the total 9 that it's going to take. So with that, as you're kind of flying along, I'm going to tell you the flight is fairly uneventful for most of it. You might see some landmarks, but yeah. Is there anything? What would y'all like to do for your downtime on the ship while you are flying north?
I will say that Tedros will probably spend that like first day or two just checking in with everybody, seeing if there's anything that they want like adjusted for their rooms or anything like that. Like if they need certain stuff in certain places, like if you need like a lantern hook in a different spot in the room, he can like move that around with no trouble. And so he's just doing little minor things there. But the rest of the time is getting his notes in order, starting like a whole new section essentially for like the Isle of Quatmantis. And then he will start working on the shooting iron as best he can.
Okay. All right, because you're working on getting that back up to working order right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm gonna ask for some Tinker Tools checks to that to see how much progress you can make.
Yes. All right. No.
Okay. Can we say that for these like 9 days of downtime, like we only have to draw once? Otherwise, it's gonna be like a whole bunch of drawing our cards.
Yeah, no, I'll let you know if like I'll say draw the cards for the day, and then like if you have if there's a day where something of interest happens, then like those are the cards you have, and then like if there needs to be another draw, like you can do that, but like you'll do like one draw per day of interest, not like per all of the days.
Okay, sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to draw.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if I have any spells that can help out. Ones I've got. Nope. Tentacles.
Is there an ability score I'm adding to?
Probably intelligence.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's cool. So that is a 7.
Okay. Beginning of things, having a hard time. It is. You're getting back into. I'm gonna guess actually, it would probably make sense for Tedros to be like hesitant in the process. Like
absolutely.
That 7 probably is Tedros like being super careful and hesitant and like almost like treating the whole thing like it's made of glass, and like spending the whole day like second guessing every decision and like not wanting to break it, and just being so careful that like you're just paralyzed with fear the entire time, and by the end you realize you made no progress.
Yeah. I think that at one point he does a thing and then he looks at it and he like puts it down for like 10 minutes and he comes back and immediately undoes it. Like he's just like, no, It's not right. It's not correct.
Yep. All right, so that's Tedros. That's Tedros for the first bit of the trip. What is everybody else doing?
I have a couple different things.
Okay.
So there's a scene I want to run with Tedros.
Okay.
But also every day, but only once a day, I'm gonna ask my cards about Quad Mentis. Just because, like, if they don't tell me anything once, then they're not gonna tell me anything the rest of the day. Basically, it's kind of the thought process there. I want to get my office like set up and organized. Like, I basically want to be just like a terrifying powerhouse of accounting, and like this is my evil layer. You know what I mean? Like, it is like so like everything's like in its perfect little spot to like be whipped out. And then I also want to spend time with Yule, where I'm like not necessarily like we're not really like doing anything, we're not really even like chatting or anything. I think Galina just like has started to feel really like protective over Yule, and so just kind of like being in her presence tends to calm Galina down, because like when she's out of eyesight, it's kind of like I hope she's not getting hurt. Like, so when she's around, Galina's like a lot calmer and like just like is just kind of like generally happier, you know? So like definitely like some downtime just like sitting with Yule as Yule's like doing whatever the fuck Yule wants to do, and Galina's just like quietly sitting with her.
And there would be probably plenty of times, like now that Yule is like learning more about like the cards and how you can translate tarot onto playing cards, like she'll probably just come up with a deck of cards and be like, Galina, can we talk? Can you help?
Yeah,
So,
every time.
Plenty of random times. But you wanted to have a scene with Ark, though? With Tedros?
Yes. Tedros, are you busy?
Okay. All right. Just give me a second. It's just like slowly putting it down and like very slowly wrapping it up. Just give me a second.
You seem anxious.
I'm just working on some technology that's as old as you might be. How are you doing today? How you doing?
Well, I was doing better before you called me ancient.
Hey, you look very good for your age. Come on.
I do, don't I?
What can I do?
I once read a storybook in Uncle Bliam's library. And in it there was a wizard who was very, very powerful, who was said to be able to see things far away, but like from where he is, you know? And obviously I'm very excited to be on this journey with everybody, but I have many duties still in Aor. And while I don't believe necessarily that I need to be in Aor, I need to be able to be in communication with Uncle Bliam. And I was wondering if, I don't think that I'm a powerful wizard who can see things far away, but if there are powerful wizards who can see things that are far away with magic, perhaps I can use magic as well to be able to talk to Uncle Bliam very far away.
Oh, you mean kind of like the ability that Viktoria has, but just kind of like longer distance, maybe?
Yeah, like maybe like looking in, like I have a mirror and he has a mirror, and then we like look in the mirror and we see each other and we can talk that way.
I mean, I guess that's a thing that's doable. Sure.
And I'm just wondering if maybe, I don't even know where to start, and I don't think it's something I'll be able to do anytime soon. But I was wondering if maybe it's something I could do if you helped a little bit.
I would be okay with that. There are some things that I can do. It would take some research, though. I don't really. So I have a couple of books from when I started trying to figure this stuff out, but they're very basic. They don't go into anything remotely useful for what you're looking at, or really
Yes,
anything
honestly,
that I do now. But
all of my magic is very inherent. So I've never had to do any kind of studying for it before, and that's kind of where I'm stumped.
right. So I guess what I'm saying is yes, but I'm gonna have to do some research. But I guess it's doable.
All right, great. And then I'm gonna pull up a seat at the workbench and just start like I've got like a little like notebook out. I've also been journaling extensively. Um, but I take out a little notebook and I start like doodling different like designs for a mirror. And then there's like one that's like a really like intricate bowl so that you could like fill with water, and then maybe you could talk through the water. And so that's probably just what she'll spend the rest of the day doing. It's just like trying to design the aesthetics of it, being like, great, this is something that we're going to work on together. Haha.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say though, like, let's be careful with that whole like bowl of water thing, because that the Montblanc and I were in our discussion. I think he was talking to his patron. What, I don't know what to call it, but he had looked in like some water, and it's still really weird. So maybe we'll skip the bowl of water. Just well,
That is interesting point, but also Leviathan is water, and Leviathan would never let Montblanc's patron come through my things. You know, like Leviathan would never let happen.
Leviathan is cool. I don't know if Leviathan is as powerful as whatever entity made Montblanc what he is. So I'm just going to be paranoid.
Okay, can I tell you a secret?
Yeah, sure.
So obviously Leviathan is tattoo and like magic and elemental. But part of me thinks that Leviathan I have is just a simple sliver of real Leviathan. And that somewhere out there in the big ocean is full Leviathan napping and just waiting for us to see each other again.
I mean, that would be really cool, and also kind of terrifying, because I've seen what your Leviathan can do, and that's very useful. And if that's a sliver, then the whole thing is the real deal.
Leviathan's very nice.
For that, I'm very happy. You may not know this, but this is a lot. I have never been around this many people who have this level of power. And it's nice in a way, but also concerning, because I don't know what, if anything, this means.
I think sometimes things are allowed to not mean anything. Sometimes you're just allowed to find a group of people that make you feel normal.
Oh, I'm going to go with make me feel good, because none of this feels entirely normal. I'm sitting in a flying ship having a conversation with a person who has a sliver of a supremely powerful water elemental. While
we don't know for sure. This might just be all of Leviathan, but it's just feeling.
I know. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sure. You can do that. And Tedros is going to take a couple more notes and mark some places. And if that's true, that means there is a huge land turtle out there somewhere.
Honestly, I've been thinking about it all the time. And the reason I haven't brought it up to Viktoria yet is because I feel like if Viktoria has that inkling in her mind, then nothing else is going to matter. But I do kind of feel like Big Terrence is around somewhere, and I hope one day Victoria gets to meet him like I get to meet Leviathan.
Big Terrence. Okay. All right. Okay. Big T. Got it. Big T. All right. Well, I can tell you right now that Big T and Little T are pretty cool so far. So let's hope that their bigger versions are also cool.
I think they are. At least I'm hoping they are. All right, well, I'll let you get back to your working and whatnot. I'm gonna go back to my office and keep getting set up. You know, honestly, the expenses of running a ship for 6 people, we've got some budgeting to do for sure. I'm going to draft up a plan and bring it up to everybody.
Yeah, we should probably figure out a way to make money.
I'm actually so glad you said that because I have been thinking of numerous different ideas.
Can I just say that I don't know if I'm glad that you're glad that I brought that up? It feels like a very long segue.
Honestly, I've just been dying for somebody to bring it up. I didn't want to be the first one to bring it up. And then she pulls out another book, but this one is like fully dictionary thick.
Oh, that's a ledger.
And she's like, all right. And then probably just talks your ears off for like 3 hours about all the different ways we could be making money based off of like everybody's individual skill sets. And then also how all of the skill sets play off of each other. So it's like this chunk, like this chapter is dedicated to like all of Yule's unique skills that she can use to get money. And then this one is all about how you can use your unique skills, blah, blah, blah. And then there's like numerous chapters about like the synergy of everybody's skills. Sorry, I very much write things down. This is what I've been doing in my office.
I can see that.
Anyways, I'll let you get back to your stuff now. I said that like 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
My bad. Have a good night.
Yeah, Tedros is just going to kind of curl up and go to sleep at that point, I think. He's like, okay, that's cool. Let's turn the brain off.
Okay. Anything from Victoria and Yule?
Okay, there we go. If at any point Tedros came by Yule's room to check on her and see if she needed anything changed. Sorry about noises. I have cats. What are you doing? Stop. Sorry. If Tedros stops by to see if Yule wants anything changed, she would just, I mean, like, if you want to just knock on the door.
Yep.
Yes?
Hey, I just wanted to check and see if you had anything you wanted moved around, changed.
No. No, don't touch anything. It's perfect. Monty made it this way and it's amazing. And I've never had my own room before.
I'm glad you get your own room. It's nice to have your own space.
When I was with Papa, his house didn't have another bedroom. And being on the road with Sister, I mean, inns are not the same.
Yeah.
But this has my stuff in it. And areas where I can practice and train. It doesn't need to be touched at all.
Okay.
But thank you for checking on me, Tedros.
Yeah. Are you doing okay?
Yes and no.
You want to talk about the no? Or the yes, if you just want to have a happy conversation.
I'm overwhelmed. I'm feeling all sorts of things I've never felt before. And Some of them are really good and some of them are really bad. And the more that time goes on and the farther I get away from the place where I left Sister, the more I just want to be a family with you guys.
I'd like that. My home situation could have been better, for sure. And I left the people related to me by blood on purpose.
Why?
It's complicated.
A lot of things are, especially for me.
Yeah. So when I made that decision, I said to myself that I didn't want to spend time with people who didn't see me for me. I didn't want to spend time with people who were just looking at me as a come up, or as someone who could do things for them, or to be someone for them. I wanted to be me for me.
How does that feel?
Getting used to it. The honest truth is, a lot of people, most people I've met, don't really care one way or the other who I am. And I don't know, there's a liberty in that. Not having to live up to someone else's expectations or needs or wants or desires. But there's also something to be said for when someone looks at you and sees who you are and what you do and what you stand for and accepts it, likes you for that sort of thing.
What if the only thing good about you is your usefulness to other people?
I will tell you that that is never the truth. Never, ever, ever the truth. What's good about you is never what you can do for other people. I know I worry a lot about being in the right place, in the right time, and doing all of the stuff. And that's probably a trauma response, if I'm being honest. But I want to do it because I'm not expected to do it.
I've never had my own life. I've never known what I want. I've only ever done what I've been told. And lately, when I talk about the things that I was told to do, everybody looks at me with a weird face.
Well, there are some things you've told us that I can't speak for everybody else, but I can say for me, there are some things that you were asked to do that the person you were asked to be that shouldn't have been asked of you.
How do I go about finding out what I want?
It's going to take a lot of time and introspection. You're going to have to listen to your gut more than anything else. you're gonna have to feel in here what's the path you want to walk. And then you're gonna have to give yourself permission to walk it. And that's probably the hardest part.
Tedros, what path are you walking?
Tedros takes out the holy symbol, and he takes it off, and he puts it in Yulyanya's hand and says, Gugut is a god of freedom, of being able to make your own decisions and do the things that are right for you. And so, at least for me, I don't have to do a thing specifically. I don't have orders or directions, but I do have responsibilities. I have the responsibility to make sure that anybody who doesn't have the same freedoms that I do gets them eventually. It's part of the reason why I'm on this trip right now to Titan's Grave. There's a whole group of people who don't have the freedom to say and do the things that they want, not based on what Montblanc's told us. And it's an opportunity that I'm presented with. I have the option, the ability to bring some of that freedom to other people. The freedom to make their own choices, to not be bogged down under the rule of somebody who doesn't care for them. I can do that.
How can you tell if somebody really cares for you?
It's a question I'm still asking myself.
Well,
I
I
got a
really care
hunch.
for you, Tedros.
And I care for you too.
Your God gives you your powers?
Some of them, I think. What I can do has been growing pretty steadily since I set out on this trip. There's some other stuff that I've been able to do long before I found out about him.
But you could say for sure that he's real?
I can say for sure that I believe in him. And when you ask me where the sun comes from, or the moon, there are people who think that it's a big ball of fire in the sky, that we go around. Some people think that the sun is its own god that comes up and goes back down from time to time. Now, I don't have the answers to any of that, but I believe that we live on a planet and the sun gives us the light and the energy that we need. And I work with what I got. I don't have to believe every single part of it. I don't have to know everything. I just need enough to get me to the next step.
But it gives you comfort? And she hands back the symbol.
Yeah, it does. It gives me comfort to think that maybe, just maybe, there's someone, some thing, some entity out there that also thinks that a kid like I was deserves to be able to set his own path and to do whatever he wants to do.
About that point, you two and Galina would hear Viktoria say,
Can everybody please come up on deck, please? Please, everybody. Like right now. Do not dilly-daddle. I'll be on deck. Please meet me there. Please, bye.
I guess we have
Do
to
you do that as a
meet on
message?
deck?
No, I would just walk down the hall.
"Oh,
And
okay."
just say that
like,
on repeat.
Okay.
And walk back up
Comes
deck.
out of her office, pen and like account ledger still in hand, and she's like still drafting up the budget as she's walking up deck.
Okay.
All right, I guess we're going on deck.
Okay. And she just scurries up.
So, I guess you are all wondering why I've gathered you here.
Yeah.
Today especially, yes.
Very much today, at this current moment, I thank you all for joining me. Please look at the mountain and tell me what you see.
If you all look over at the mountain, you're all kind of flying through the mountains at this point. It's dark. It's after dark. It's evening at this point, so the sun has like more or less set to just like an orange glow on the horizon. And as you're flying through the mountains this evening, you see what looks like probably about half a mile, a little less than half a mile away at this point, a very bright light that just like gets brighter and brighter and then dimmer and dimmer. And then brighter and brighter, and then dimmer and dimmer. Over on one of the mountaintops.
What?
Is that some type of signal?
I don't know. I saw it up here with my eyes. I saw it. I went and told Monty. He said to tell you guys and to see if we should check it out. I'm just glad that somebody else is able to see it as well, and that I'm not losing my mind.
Sorry, what are we checking out? Oh, what's the flashing thing?
Get your head out of your book. Books stay in the office.
No. Books stay in the office unless I'm holding book. You don't take book out of office.
What if I took the book right now so you could pay attention to the like?
I'm putting
glaringly
away. I'm
obvious
putting away.
book?
Let's go check it
It's
out.
not the
It
book.
looks weird. I want to see what it is.
We can take a look. Yeah, I don't mind.
Do you swing?
Awesome.
So you tell Montblanc to swing in closer?
I will message him and be like, the group agrees we should check it out.
All right. And we'll start swinging the ship over in that direction. As you get closer, you can see that it's dark out, so it's kind of hard to make out details. But as you come in kind of closer level to it, you can start to see that the light is at the top of about a 40-foot tall tower. And it's actually not getting brighter and dimmer. You can see actually start getting closer, and you can see like the low clouds start blowing in over it. You can actually see that the light is rotating. It's not getting brighter and dimmer. It's
house.
Yeah, very slowly, just kind of rotating around and just shining a light out into the darkness in every direction. And as you get even closer to it, you can see a couple of things. One, it is made of 5 different colors of some kind of stone-like material. And you can also see that it appears to have a dock, a very well-constructed dock of the same material, multiple actually, that stick outward from a cliff face, just jutting out into thin air.
You have
Clearly
to be
visible-
absolutely kidding.
Clearly visible as docks. but like into thin air.
I'll be right back. I gotta get some paper for this. Tedros like books it downstairs.
Okay.
Okay, but like if we put our ship on one of those docks and we like get off of it, unless we leave Leviathan behind, the ship will just go.
You can actually see that it looks like as you're getting closer, the dock looks like it's designed in a way to like hold up the ships almost. Like there is a bit of like as you get up closer, there's like some of that stonework that extends down beneath, like between the docks, as if like a ship like yours is supposed to kind of be cradled in between them.
Well, I was wrong, apparently.
It's a good thing to keep in mind, but it's also
It's a good thing though, yes, because while Leviathan is keeping both up, Leviathan can't be protecting anybody.
Exactly.
I've been very much missing my tattoo.
And also as you get closer, you do see just like illuminated from behind at the top of this tower, you can see what looks like a humanoid shape at the top, just like holding up a hand in greeting. Before, but it's hard to look at because it's like every time you can see the person because it's dark up there otherwise, like the light is in your eyes, so it's like you can just see like the barest outline.
How far would you say this figure is from us at this current moment? And is it less than 120 feet?
If you're coming into dock, yes.
Okay. What is the range on message?
I think it's 120 feet.
Awesome. I will message this humanoid figure.
Okay.
And just be like, hi, hello, in all of the languages that Viktoria speaks. So common, primordial, and celestial.
I've also got to teach you how to say hi in Draconic, because I think that's the only one I have that you don't have. Yeah.
And then she will very rudimentally say hello in Draconic.
Okay, that one gets a response, but you don't understand what it is.
I will just word for word repeat it.
Okay.
Like mimic the sounds.
Yeah. Give me a wisdom check to see if you can like mimic the sounds enough to be understandable. Because mimicking another language as you're hearing it is difficult.
Okay, so that is an 18 minus 1 for
Okay.
17.
All right. For the two, I think it's two of you who speak Draconic, the response is hello there. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in and rest, basically, is what the response is.
We're being invited in.
Awesome.
Is that a good thing?
I did a little bit of a vibe check before I got all of you, and I did not get any bad vibes.
Okay, but we
Awesome.
also got invited for dinner once, and then I think you guys ended up almost being the dinner.
Technically, we kind of invited ourselves to dinner.
Yeah. Technically, Galina was like, let us in and we will make you dinner.
Okay.
Also, we definitely knew that Aganetta was evil long before we got up there.
Yes, but we
that
don't
was-
know anything about this person.
Well, then we shall find out. And Victoria is getting off the ship as soon as it's
Okay.
docked.
Yeah, Montblanc applauding. I was like, all right, I'll stay here at the ship. Make sure nothing happens to it.
I am hopping off and
Yeah.
running in.
Leviathan slides back onto Galina's body as she's not running, because running is unladylike and undignified, but she is moving pretty quickly to keep
Okay.
up with Victoria.
Can we
Victoria's full on running.
Can we say that in the couple days that has passed on the travel, Yule has been messing around with the glider to see how it works?
Sure, yeah.
All right.
I will, yeah. So you do, it kind of unfolds, but in order to hold it unfolded, like Yule's braid, basically there's a part of it that Yule's braid needs to like hold on to.
And
Kind of
steer
like,
it.
less steer it, more hold it open.
Okay.
So it's like, you know how an umbrella, where it's like you push the thing up the middle, but then it like clips into place?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine like an umbrella that doesn't have that clip into place part, so you kind of just need to like hold that one piece so the rest of it stays spread open.
Gotcha.
That's the part Yule's braid does, and then like just kind of leaning side to side is how you steer.
Okay. She would end up just like jumping onto her glider and making her way with the rest of them.
Yeah, you just glide off the ship, which gives you some extra time. All right, yeah, and you can see, yeah, it looks like a lighthouse made of the 5-colored material that is consistent with Draconic Union ruins. But yeah, you can see from up top, you can see the light spinning around, and you can see a doorway with like firelight coming from inside.
Open the door if there is one.
There it is.
Push it open while also like knocking on it with a finger, like hello.
Okay. Yeah, so you just push the door open.
Yeah.
You enter in and you see what looks recognizably like the tap room of a tavern or an inn. It looks empty but otherwise well maintained. Everything is made of a very very like rich dark wood. The floor, the walls, the tables, chairs, the counter. There's barrels set up at the back, and there's a fire set in the fireplace. But mostly what you see lighting the place is these sort of like brass fixtures with what looks to be just like a glowing, like kind of opalescent crystal just delicately held in place by these thin fixtures. That's providing the majority of the light. But there's no one in the tap room. Just looks like the abandoned front room of an inn.
Do we
How
think
high
we
up are
wait
these
here?
crystals?
Whoa. Rose, what was your question?
How high up are these crystals on the wall?
Not
And
terribly.
could
Like,
Victoria reach one?
probably, yeah. You have to like break the thing to get it out of it, though.
Do it, I dare you. I dare you. See
don't
what
dare you.
happens.
I have been dared.
See what happens. See what
I
happens.
don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, we don't know this person, and they've
wanted to
invited us
touch
into
it.
their home.
It's
I've got my
probably
like shape water rod out for when I smack Victoria's knuckles. See what happens. Do it.
You honestly
do it.
like endorsing crime? Lady Galina.
I think she's
Let's-
trying to
let's-
get you to not do it.
Let's see what
No,
happens.
No, she
If you do
literally
it.
is just telling me to break it and see what happens, and then she's going to hit my hand with the rod if I do it.
okay. All right. It's probably fine for you to touch it. I will be very angry if you break it, seeing as how
Touch.
we have just. That's fine. I don't mind. It's cool. I'm
You
gonna
touch?
touch. I'm gonna touch
I
everything.
did
here.
touch it.
Okay, it
Wait.
I'm gonna touch everything.
goes
here.
dark.
Can I touch it? And she's just kind of like jumping up for someone to give her a boost.
Pick you all up and just be like, touch.
Tiny hand just goes on the crystal.
Same one.
Same one.
Okay, lights back up again.
Ooh.
These will
Tedros
look
is just,
very
like,
nice on our
rubbing the
ship.
wall.
Tedros just touches them all.
He's rubbing the wall right now. He's just like
Oh,
checking
okay.
the smoothness and.
So the wall is actually wood paneling. It looks like the exterior is that stone
Got it,
material,
okay.
but then the inside is just like wood paneling that like is attached on like in a second layer.
There are like stairs to like go up to the light portion of the lighthouse.
Yeah, there's a set of there's a staircase that follows the curvature of the outer wall and heads up to a second floor. There's
I'm
also
gonna start
there's
heading up, I think.
also a back door or a door behind the bar as well.
Yeah, behind the bar feels like employees only though, so I'm gonna go up the stairs.
Right.
I will put Yule on the shoulders and then also go up the stairs.
Okay.
Yule is very happy to be there.
Okay.
Don't touch the axe. It does sit on my back, so just kind of make sure you don't touch it.
Okay. And she's gonna like grab her hair in front of her to make sure it doesn't like accidentally get cut off.
Good call.
Tedros is just staying downstairs and just idly taking notes about the fact that there's a crystal you can touch it, the light, and turn it off. And...
Okay.
He's very excited.
So as you head up to the second floor.
Mhm.
Okay. The second floor looks like a fairly you kind of come up to a fairly basic looking T-shaped hallway, or like a plus sign, where basically there's doors on each of the four sections segmented off, and then the stairs also keep going up.
Obviously, I want to check out all of these doors, but I think that the person who invited us in is up still, so I'm going to keep going up. I don't want to do too much exploring without getting permission from the person.
Okay. And also it's still lit by more of those crystals set into like the delicate brass sconces.
I'm just saying
okay.
these would look great on our boat.
Maybe we should ask for some or see where we could buy them.
Absolutely. I do not think that our friendly friend up here is going to say no if we just like take 2 or maybe 5.
We don't
or
know
maybe
them.
More. We are very charming and likable. I'm sure we
To
could
some
convince
people.
them. I'm sure we could convince them to like us. They already invited us in. That's like the first step.
Yule is just like big nervous.
So do the 3 of you all keep going up with Galina?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Tedros, you're still in the tap room? Okay. You can hear the creaking of them continue walking upward. The creaking eventually turns to clanking as the wooden steps give way to brass ones as you get above.
Oh, Galina's heels are so obnoxious on these fuckers.
Kerclank, 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 kerclank. Yeah. As it becomes metal stairs with like a very smooth metal railing. And as you come up above the second floor, it's just pretty much completely open in the middle of the lighthouse, and you can see this very large brass mechanism running up the middle of the tower from here, up that sort of like continues up through the middle of the floor above you. Like it looks like there's like one more floor up into that top area where the person was, and it's just like this big kind of spinning column in the middle with like other mechanisms and things attached to it. Like the other thing, like the railing and the stairs both, you don't necessarily see like different parts or seams to them. Like it almost seems like one solid piece of metal with like no joinery or screws or nails or anything holding it together. Like it looks like one solid piece all put together as you start clanking your way up towards the top.
I'm gonna try to like visually remember everything that I'm seeing so I could make a detailed minor illusion for Tedros later, just in case it ends up being like, oh, we're actually not allowed to go up here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's what Galina's thinking about.
Okay.
It's just like, Tedros would love this, and it would be very sad if we're actually not allowed up here and he'll never get to see it. So I'm going to make sure that I remember so I can show him.
Okay. All right. So do the 3 of you then continue upward? Okay. You eventually get up to the very top floor, which is made of that same material. It's the very top. It's the top floor of a lighthouse, basically. No windows though. It's just kind of open out to the elements, so the wind keeps blowing through. And you can see in the very center, suspended actually above the mechanism, you can see at the very bottom, like at the floor, is that rotating brass mechanism, and it kind of doesn't continue up to the light. It just kind of fans out into a myriad of like wide, smooth, flat, or wide, like curved panels. Almost think like segmented satellite dish pointed upward. And then hovering above it is about a 5-foot diameter opalescent crystal, like the smaller ones you saw, set into the walls for lighting, but just like person-sized and floating in the middle and just kind of rotating. And like one side of it has a like brass coating on it, so that side doesn't let off light. So, and then it kind of continues around the outside, kind of forming like a dish to focus the light forward, and that is just rotating around in the middle. And in between, like getting blinded momentarily by the light shining into your face, and then turning away from you, in the parts where it's facing away from you, you can see a person standing up, like kind of out on the balcony, just like leaning on the railing. Looks like the lighthouse keeper. Looks like a man in his like maybe late 40s, sandy brown hair, and just wearing like, the clothes would seem a little odd but not completely unfamiliar. You know, still like shirt, pants, hard to it's one of those things where it's hard to tell exactly what is off about them, but they just seem foreign and strange, but you can't quite place how. And as you come up, he's leaning out and looking outward and looks like kind of down at your ship, and as he hears you come up the stairs, he turns and says, "Oh, well, hello there. It's been a while since I had any visitors up here."
Is he speaking in common now?
Draconic, actually.
All right. Oh, hello. Thank you so much for welcoming us into your lovely home. My name is Lady Galina of the 5-Star Chalice. These are my sisters, Lady Viktoria of the 5-Star Chalice and Lady Yulyanya of the Valley.
Nice to meet all of you. Nice to meet all of you.
He says, "Nice to meet you." I'm so sorry, I did not catch your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just admiring your. I got distracted. I was admiring your ship down there. It's very nice. Very well kept up, by the way.
Thank you. We actually just recently came into possession of it.
Did you?
Yes.
Yule is like not talking. She's like really nervous about like giving away this personal information.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it's not often that I see a Gelder class ship this far south.
Yes, well, you know the saying.
Right. Well, oh, yes, for my name. My name is Mither.
Mither?
Yes.
Lovely name, lovely name. Do you hail from Sveruuk? Is that a classic Sveruukian name?
Sveruuk?
Oh, Sveruuk. Yes, it's a country in this area.
Galina,
Sorry, never heard of it. You're further north actually at this point. You've probably entered into the mountains of the nation of Thragus at this point, which is further north from Sveruuk.
Galina, did you ask if he can speak our language?
Oh my gosh, I completely forgot to even ask. I just got so caught up in I don't get to use Draconic very often. I'm so sorry. Do you speak the common tongue?
Aren't we speaking the common tongue? He says in Draconic.
Not anymore. There's a new one. From what I can gather, from other people, of course.
Well, I don't get off of this mountaintop much, keeping up with this lighthouse as I do. Speaking of, I was going to say you should probably, if you're, I noticed when you flew in, you were flying in on a water spirit, keeping your ship up. So you got those weird sails and everything attached on there, right?
Yes, we like it.
I was going to say, you should probably get yourself, if you wanted, you should probably get yourself over to Mendro Caval, get yourself a proper air or fire spirit to run that thing if you wanted to get any real speed.
This is honestly so interesting, and I really, really appreciate you bringing this up, because like I said, we just recently came into possession of the ship ourselves, and so we're still kind of, testing things out and stuff. But you know who would love to be a part of this conversation is our dear friend Tedros. So I noticed downstairs there's a very lovely tavern area. Perhaps we could all just go sit around and have a nice glass of water and chit chat for a little bit.
I needed to do some upkeep on the crystal up here, but if your friend's downstairs, you can come on up. That's fine. I just need to finish something up here real quick.
Go get Tedros.
Message to Tedros. The mysterious man speaking Draconic requests your presence up here. I can't understand the word he's saying.
And he'll make his way up the stairs.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Where were you saying is a good place to get fire or air spirits?
Oh, well, the capital, Mendro Caval.
Of course. That's so silly of me. How do we get there?
How do you get there? I mean, well,
we're not from this continent.
It's not on this continent.
Good
Good point. Good point. That I hadn't considered of. Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
This area is part of the Draconic Union, right?
Of course.
Yes, and the place you said is, of course, the capital of the Draconic Union.
Well, yes. What else would there be the capital of?
Of course. Yeah, no, of course. I just wanted to double check for whatever reason. Where is Tedros?
Yeah, Tedros will
Yeah.
make your way up the steps eventually.
Hey, that's bright. Okay, yeah.
Ah, sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's a-okay. He's
In comment, I'm gonna look at Tedros and be like, he fully believes the Draconic Union is still a thing.
Give him
Oh.
about the Isle of God Mentis then.
As far as he is concerned, the Draconic Union is still the overwhelming power in the world. Anyways, what were you saying? You said there was some maintenance you had to do. Is there anything we can help with?
How
Oh no,
old
that's
is he?
just fine. That's perfectly fine. I was just looking at this mechanism down here and just making sure it was maintained and oiled properly to keep it spinning. And yeah, like I was saying, if you want to get a good air or fire spirit to keep your ship running, Mendrokaval's the place to go. Obviously, get one of the good wranglers, one of the good spirit wranglers. They'll be able to find you a good one. Of course, you want to find one you get along with. You don't want a spirit running your ship you don't get along with. That's the recipe for disaster, of course.
Yeah. Tedros is like racking his brain. He knows that the when they were in the words. When we were at the elemental magnifier, Mendrokaval came up, but he's like, he's trying to figure out like what was the connection? Was it a place? Was it a
Yes, Tedros, of course. Mendrokaval, the capital of the Draconic Union.
Yeah, absolutely. But I haven't actually been there, so I don't really know how we'd get there from here.
Oh, you've never been? Are you saying this in Draconic?
If Galina said it to Tedros in Draconic, then he would be responding.
Yeah, I said it to
Okay.
Tedros in Draconic because
Okay.
I'm just trying to I'm a little worried that this is one of those situations where it's like a sleepwalking situation where it's like if we tell him that the time has passed, he's gonna turn to dust. So it's like Galina's playing along now because she's worried about what happens if she stops playing along.
He says, "Oh, never been to Mendrokaval, huh? I've been a few times. We got family over there, actually. Been a while since I've seen them, though."
I can imagine. From where
You
we are
visibly
now,
watch Galina wince.
from where we are right now, what direction would that be?
He just kind of stands up, looks out over the horizon, and just kind of vaguely points in like a north direction.
Do we have a world map?
You do, yeah. Should be in the
Okay.
chat. Several.
Yes. I know,
places over.
I know that we have one in the chat. I just wasn't sure if we had like a physical copy in the
Oh,
party.
Have you? I don't know if you all have one actually.
I don't
Yeah.
think so. Great. And we'll just fly in that direction for about how far?
Oh, hard to say. It's funny. It's one of those things where I just usually let the spirit take me there if I'm going, or I'm usually not taking my own ship. I charter one from somebody else coming through here.
Yeah, of course, as you do.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now we can't have our own airship, of course.
yeah, I can tell you, I personally, none of my friends have an airship either.
Oh, just you?
Yeah, it's just us.
Well, lucky you.
Yeah, it's definitely great for getting around. Would be awesome if we can, kind of make this a faster and more effective process. But make
Yes,
do with what
because
you
right
got.
now we're just using my friend Leviathan, but it would be
Mm.
nice for my friend Leviathan to not have to do it.
Right. Well, you probably. I mean, it's got to be at least a couple hundred, if not maybe 1,000 Kentramars from here.
Mhm.
That's what he was talking about. Yes. Okay. All right. That makes perfect sense.
And how many days travel is 1,000 Kentramars? About, give or take, you think?
Now, depending on your pace
Yeah.
points down to your ship. It'll take you a while, but well,
Yeah, like regular air spirit ship,
oh, no more than a week.
Okay.
All right.
So then we'd probably be looking at about 3 or so weeks.
Maybe more at your speed.
Yeah. Maybe like a month or two or something like that at our speed.
Depending on the winds, yeah. It's funny. It's been a longest time since I saw anyone using antique like sails like that. Really roughing it, huh?
Well, sometimes you really gotta come to understand like what people before you have done, how they've gone about things.
Yeah,
It gives you a newfound
ways.
appreciation. Yeah.
I suppose so.
That being said, I don't know how much longer we're gonna rough it. It would be fantastic for us to do that. To just pick up the pace a little bit. We do have some things that we have to do eventually, so it'll be great if we can.
Do you know anything about the Isle of Quadmentis?
Oh, I heard something about that. I got some news about that coming through here. Something about a recent joint endeavor, something to the south about that. I've heard a little bit about them, but not a whole lot.
Oh, is it the elemental magnifier? Does that sound like?
Maybe, I don't know. I can't keep up with all the projects going on all over the world.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't really have any concrete information. I have just some stuff here and there, just asking because it'd be cool if somebody knew more than I did.
Do you have any books?
Books. No, I can't say I do. Why?
I just like to read on our travels, and I've already read all of my books, so I was hoping that maybe you just had some fun day in the life autobiography type books. Those are my favorites.
Books, sales. You all really do like roughing it, huh?
How do you read? You're saying you prefer the other way than books? I prefer books.
Well, yes, but you're all very strange. You know that? You come in here, you start asking about some country I've never heard of called Sveruuk.
They're really more like a city state. They're just kind of getting on their feet.
Right. Why? You've got sails on your airship. You're asking about books. You say you're confused about the common tongue, about what the common language is, and you think it's something I've never heard of before. Where are all of you from, anyway?
The Isle of Quadmentis.
All of you?
All 4 of us.
Why were you asking me about it then?
I just like to know what the rest of the world thinks about our little island.
All right.
That's all.
Okay.
I feel like we've taken up a lot of your time right now, but I do appreciate you being here. It's not, you don't know what you might fly into if you don't have a good lighthouse to help you, steer your way. So I from one sky sailor to another person, thank you for your service. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a job, much as any other.
Yeah, well, some jobs are really, really important, you know?
If you say so. If you say so.
Well, as somebody who could fall out of an airship if it crashed and plummet to his death, I am very eager to not have that happen. So I'm thankful for the things that helped me to not do that.
All right. Well, I mean, it's mostly just to show you where the inn is. You shouldn't. I mean, if you're talking to your spirit, it should do most of the steering for
You
for
can
you.
talk to spirits.
How do you make your ship run?
Well, I asked Leviathan, but Leviathan never says anything.
I mean, I'm sorry, I don't quite know how to explain this to you. It's just the way things are done.
Yeah, things are a little bit different on Quat Mentis. It's probably part of it. Where
Yeah, we're a little less advanced than the Draconic Union.
If you made it all the way, I mean, you've made it all the way over here. You've passed through so much of the Union.
We haven't stopped. This is our first stop. We've been going nonstop.
Where are you going?
We're just traveling.
You're just traveling, but you've been going nonstop from the Isle of Quat Mentis all the way to here.
Yeah, honestly, we had a really hard time parking the ship. So this was the first time we found anywhere that had an easy sort of docking spot. I feel like we've likely just taken terrible routes and somehow managed to miss all of the other good docking spots.
Every town in the city should have one. I don't know where you've been going.
I honestly, I think we're probably just hitting the wrong side of the towns and cities.
What do you mean the wrong side of them? They should be all over the place.
Well, you're in your one section of town, you can't see all of town, and then you're like, oh well, there's nothing really interesting in this section of town, time to move on. I don't want to. I'm very scared about the answer.
What year it is?
Great question. My sisters are asking. So on Quad Mentis, I don't know if you know this, we actually use a different calendar than the Draconic Union. And so you seem very nice, and we've been too embarrassed to ask anybody else because everybody else has been a little kind of standoffish. And we were wondering if you wouldn't mind just telling us the Draconic Union date and year, because our calendar is different.
Oh, well, the year is that's funny. I don't know why I'm having trouble remembering what year it is.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. No worries. Don't. It's fine. He can't remember.
Oh, that is not good sign.
And no, and that's funny too, because I was looking out the balcony and this time of year, I know what time of year it should be, but we're coming into fall. I can see it, but the constellations, they're in the wrong place.
This is why I didn't want to bring it up. He's going through an existential crisis right now.
Oh no.
And then
Ask him how long he's been in the tower.
He's already kind of going through it a lot right now. I think maybe we let him rest.
But maybe that's an easier question to answer than what year it is. Maybe he doesn't know what year it is, but he knows how long he's been here.
Galina, and Tedros is saying this in common. Galina, I don't think we're going to be able to keep lying to this man about what's going on.
But look at his little face.
Galina, he is halfway to a mental breakdown. It would be kinder to just let him know that it's thousands of years in the future.
He does say
thousands.
He says, coming to the conclusion himself, he says, oh no, that's right. It wasn't a dream at all. I watched the world burn from my little mountaintop, and there wasn't a thing I could do about it. And then next time the light passes in front of you and shines in your eyes of all of you, next time you see him, he is transparent and just sort of an outline standing there. And then he just kind of sighs, and the next time the light passes over him, he's gone. And then next thing you know, the crystal, as it turns back around to look at you, kind of just comes to a stop. And it's just cracked and dark. And as you look around you, what was a very well-maintained top of a lighthouse is old and dilapidated looking, and just looks like it's in ruins.
I just want to say, as Flo the player called it. What the
Well,
fuck?
tell him.
What the fuck?
I just wanted to know how long he'd been there.
He said that he remembers now that he watched the world burn from his mountaintop and couldn't do anything about it.
What the fuck does that mean, though?
Well, clearly the Draconic Union was a world-spanning civilization. This is known.
And it's gone now?
And it's gone now. So the only logical step is that... And also we know that there is something in the tower, not the tower, the weather place.
Yes.
Wasn't there that like alluded to the fact that something serious was happening?
Yeah.
You know what this means? We can take as many crystals as we want.
Oh, that's true. I wonder if the crystals downstairs are still working.
I have sneaking suspicion, gut feeling, probably not. But that doesn't mean we can't take them and get them working again.
It's true.
Okay, serious question for you, Tedros. How long does it have to be a ruin before it's considered archaeology versus just robbing?
Well, he doesn't exist anymore, so I don't think you can rob him.
So then it would be archaeology.
Okay. Let's
Explore?
That's right, there were all those rooms to look at.
I'm
Now
pretty
I
sure
kind
that
of
was a
wish we
ghost.
had looked at them first before we talked to the guy, because then maybe they would be in more pristine condition.
Yeah, I think we just talked to a ghost.
Oh, we 100% talked to a ghost. Tedros.
Absolutely, that was a ghost.
That is
Okay.
clearly what happened. We're moving
Okay.
on to the other aspects of the conversation. Like the conversation is
I
the
mean,
more disturbing part, in my opinion.
Technically speaking, you guys talked to a ghost.
That's true.
Yeah.
He did not understand. He did not know that that there's a common tongue. He thought Draconic was common, but
It
Draconic
was
is
back then.
Draconic and common is common.
Well, the Draconic Union. Everybody there would have spoken Draconic. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, and I guess if it was world spanning, then
What did you ask him about? You guys talked for a very long time.
Well, mostly Galina tried to talk around her way around getting some information.
it did not work.
But what information did you get?
I got the information that they considered books to be archaic.
There was nothing more important about, like, the world? Its layout?
Well, apparently it was weird that the idea that we didn't have a full conversation with our with elemental spirits is also a strange thing.
Yeah,
I have full
apparently they're
conversations with
supposed to be able
Terrence.
to talk.
You have
Terrence doesn't talk back
conversations
to
with
you.
Terrence?
No, but like I imagine what he would say, and that keeps my conversations going.
So, if you talked about spirits, did he tell you anything about how we could get one to power the ship?
He said
They
we
said
could
there were
get one.
spirit wranglers. There were people, there was a whole job dedicated to wrangling spirits to then be used.
Yeah, in
But-
Mendro Caval.
Mendro
sounds
Caval. What's that?
Amazing.
That's the Draconic Union capital. And
Yeah.
apparently it's north this way, about, what did he say, a week's travel by air spirit, but with our spirit, Leviathan, we're looking at probably a month or so.
Well, do we have a
Maybe,
map?
We gotta poke around. We have to see if there's a map here. We have to
We
see
can
if
take a
there's
look.
artifacts here. If there are even just day in the life of somebody who lived in the Draconic Union would shed so much light on so much.
Plus, I mean, we've already dedicated ourselves to going to Titan's Grave, but if we could get a map and mark off where Titan's Grave is and then mark off to the north of here, then we could come back for it.
Yes, that's true. We could use the world that we know to triangulate locations in the world of the Draconic Union.
I've never used a map. I mean, Sister always did all of our travel plans, but I know that she used a map when she did it.
Well, we would need two maps. We'd need one of the old ones and a new one to compare so we can figure out what places are the same.
We can get a new one from Titan's Grave easy enough. In fact, we
Right.
probably could have gotten one in Sveruuk if we had thought to ask.
That probably would have been a good idea.
Well, I don't know if we would have gotten a world map in Sveruuk,
It's true.
because they don't necessarily need to know about the entire world.
And if we can't get one in Titan's Grave, we can definitely get one in Aor. There are many world maps.
I'm sure
Most
your
of it
Uncle
is
Blian
just-
would have one.
Oh, he would have many of them. Most of it is just parts of the world that have been taken over by Aor, but it is technically a world map.
He likes to play little games on it, like that you have your pieces and then he hits his pieces and then someone else has their pieces, and the whole thing is like trying to like outmaneuver each other so that you have your pieces all over the entire map.
And you like take over the world and
Yes.
like defeat the other people.
He calls it risque.
Just one big old war game, huh?
Yeah, it's not very fun. I always tended to lose.
Well, if
It's
we're
very
going
fun.
if we're going to look around for a map or artifacts, then someone should tell Monty that we'll be here for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's late, right? We could probably just get some sleep.
Camp here?
And we can take a quick peek and then head to Titan's Grave in the morning.
Yeah, perhaps we sleep on the boat for the night, and then in the morning we can do a quick search around the lighthouse before we head out.
But
Sounds good to me.
what if everything crumbles around us when we leave it?
I know, I'm very worried about it. Like, maybe we should just look right now before it starts crumbling.
You got to basically go down these stairs to get. You're on the top floor still. You got to go down the stairs to even pass by all that.
Mhm.
All right,
Yeah.
there's 4 of us, and there's 4 rooms downstairs. We each take a room, and then,
Thought the
then we
rooms
go down again.
were the rooms on the bottom floor, or were the rooms like?
There are rooms on the
Along
second
the-
floor.
Okay.
So if we hit second floor, each of us take a room, and then maybe you can message Monty, see if he can come and check the door at the tavern, because there is the door behind the bar in the tavern as well.
Do you all like go down the stairs and start making your way down?
Yeah.
I'm gonna save you some time. As you get down to those stairs, you find the stairs themselves are like tarnished and creaking as you walk down them. And when you look down, the stairs just end about where the metal stairs started, and the whole first 2 floors are gone. It is just like pretty much just completely hollow down to the bottom, and like only the The Draconic Union material is the only thing left. The doorway is just an open doorway at the bottom, and it's like a couple feet up above the ground, as if the floor was like set up a couple feet above the foundation. But otherwise, everything looks like it is just rotted away to nothing.
I think we've made a big mistake.
We've made a huge mistake.
We have absolutely bungled this.
Next time we are doing the searching. See, I thought we were doing the good politically correct thing. We were talking to our host before we started going through our host things. Next time we're just going through our host things.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. And with that, as you are all looking down from the top of the stairs, we'll get you down next time when we play next week, hopefully. So thank you all for coming, everybody. Good to see you all. Good to play again. Feel better, Justin, if you're still watching.
Feel better, Justin.
And
Feel better.
Feel better.
we will see all of
Feel
you
better.
next week. So have a good rest of your day, everybody.